All right, so our rules here are saying, let me just draw this. So our first rule says, so the first, if I just drew like a star, can you see that?
Yes.
I guess you guys didn't join the, okay, it's totally fine, I didn't join the board. I'm just sharing my screen, so actually it will work out better. I drew that with this. Okay, so an album contains photographs picturing 7 friends. So I just draw my letters up here. So we have R, S, T, U, W, Y, and Z. Oh, that's a Karshna joining. Perfect. Just kidding. And then I just double check it really quick and I just count my letters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I just make a quick 7 just to make sure I didn't forget anybody and just to remind myself that I know like how many I'm dealing with. And then the friends appear either alone or in groups with one another in accordance with the following. So this question is so tricky because it's not really an in and out game. It's a grouping game and we don't know how many groups or how many pictures there can possibly be. Typically on grouping games, I'm all about the worlds, but this one I think would suck to try to do worlds because we don't know what the options really are. So our first one says, Wendy appears in every photograph that Selma appears. So how would we diagram this one? What did you do, Yamira?
I didn't diagram. Oh, for the rules. Okay, so hold on because I linked mine. What did I do? If S, then W.
Yes, if S and W, because Wendy is in every single photo that Selma is in. So what's the contrapositive of that, Kamani?
Not W, then not S.
Fabulous. All right. Victoria, can you do the second one for us? Did you diagram rule number 2?
Yeah, isn't it the same thing as rule number 1? Someone appears in every photograph that you appears in. So if you, then S, so you arrow S.
And then what's the contrapositive?
If not S, then not you.
Excellent. And then what Yamira said earlier was that, oh, I linked these. And so we see that we have S triggering something here. And if we have S, that means that we have to have W. So we absolutely can link those. So I'm just going to go ahead and add what we have above down below. And then, but what do we have to do on that bottom one that makes it a little bit tricky?
Put the W before the S.
Yes, with the W before the S. Because we have to flip it and reverse it. So the W has to go down here. So if not W, then not S and not U. So really at this point, we could just get rid, like, I'm not gonna, like, technically you could just get rid of this because we are reduplicating it, but I'm not going to for now, but just so you could see that. All right, Lisa, can you do rule number 3?
Probably not. Raimundo appears in every photograph that Yakira does not appear in. So R arrow Y with a slash through it.
So close.
Opposite.
Oh, right. Yes. So Y with a slash arrow. So when Yakira's not there, Raimundo's there.
Excellent. And what's the contrapositive of that?
R. No R. Then Y.
Perfect. All right, and then lastly, Heather, how would you do, or maybe Heather, have you done games yet in your studying?
Yeah, here and there, but have someone else. I'm kind of like getting my kid dinner and listening.
Yeah,
at the same
no
time.
worries. Iman, how would you do number 4?
Sure. Hold on one second, because my kids are in the bathroom as well. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. So neither Ty nor Romando appear in any photograph. So that's gonna be that Wendy appears in. That's gonna be W. W goes to T/ and R/.
Actually,
Then
yeah, so
contrapositive.
we don't get
Yeah,
Ty.
because is it, what is it? I can't. Any is a sufficient indicator, right? So any is a
Probably.
sufficient indicator. So that's what then the contrapositive would be T or R, and they go to W/.
Excellent. So what I actually do in my contrapositives with, it is a little, like a tiny extra work, is I don't write or because it confuses me. So I just write if R, no W, and if R, or if T, no W.
Right.
I don't need both of them. If one of them
Yeah.
happens, we don't have the other one. So I just break it up into 2 different rules because it's easier for me to follow, and it's easy. And it's faster for me too when I'm doing the game. So I don't, for some reason, those ors, I have to think extra about it just to double check. And I just do it once and I don't have to think about it.
Right.
So what we can do here is, I'm gonna have to
But Nicole,
yeah.
back to that really quick though, but don't you, I mean, I see what you're saying, but don't you have to on the like, wouldn't the contrapositive be, wait, what does it say again? Neither. So do you look at nor like or, because then wouldn't the contrapositive be R and T, then no W?
No,
Nicole already diagrammed that though in the original statement.
yeah, this is the original statement.
If W, then not T and not R. So Nicole already has that.
Oh, wait, okay, I'm sorry, I'm lost. I thought we were doing the last one. Neither T nor R appears in
We
any
did,
photograph.
and that's what we have.
Okay,
So what that last one is, neither T nor R appears in any photograph that Wendy appears in. So if we have Wendy,
right.
then we don't have T and we don't have R. So not having Wendy guarantees both of these things. But if we don't just have one of them, or if we have one of them, having one of them is enough to not have Wendy. So what some people will teach is that they'll write it, if you have R or you have T, then you don't have W. I think that's confusing. And I just write it that if I have R, I don't have W. If I have T, I don't have W. Like, I just need one of them. I mean, technically, I could have both of them.
What Nicole wrote, the original statement she wrote is if W, then not T and not R. And the contrapositive is if T or R, then not W. It's the same thing.
Okay, that's what I was getting caught up on. Okay.
I just don't
It's
like
preferences. It's
Yeah.
preferences.
I just don't like writing this. Like, to me, this is confusing. I'm more likely to mess it up.
If what I wrote works for you, use that. If what Nicole wrote works for you, then use that. There's no wrong way to do it. It's just preferences.
Yeah.
Okay.
I try to simplify everything as much as possible. I might oversimplify things. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is, though, I'm like, ooh, do we have anything else that we can connect? And it's super exciting because we do.
Everything connects.
I know, I'm like, whoa, this is like massive. So if we have W, then I'm just gonna go ahead and add this to my little chain here. So if we have W, that means that we don't have I. Wait,
We don't have T.
T, sorry, okay.
T and R.
And we don't have R.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that connect with the first one? Or the second one, I'm sorry.
R. If we don't have R, we don't have Y. That's the contrapositive right there.
Yeah, you can put Y on the end of the chain after
Yeah.
R.
Thank
And then for this one here, I probably would write just T or R here, even though I just said I don't do that. And that would trigger this.
Right.
And then where can Y go on this first chain? Can it go anywhere?
I mean, it would benefit you, I think, to write it twice the way that you normally would, Nicole.
Yeah.
Or it might actually make sense for this game to do that.
Can we put the Y anywhere on the second one?
You could
Oh,
put
I
it
get
in
what you're
front of
saying.
the chain.
No, yeah, if you split it up into T
Yeah,
and then
yeah, I see what you're saying.
not
I truly did split it up on mine when I did it the first time.
I
Okay,
didn't even know this far.
I feel like I just forgot something when I did that. The T. Okay, and then down below we'll make this T,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll make this R. So if we have R, that means that I don't have W, which means I don't have S, which means I don't have U. Okay, can we add the Y anywhere to this now?
Oh, wait, don't forget to cross out the W.
Oh, thank you. Can we do anything else?
I mean, not Y could go before R, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't write out the contrapositive of the chain for this, but I still got like everything
You
right.
don't need to.
You don't
Yeah.
need to. I do it when I'm teaching, and I think it's good to practice when you're going slow and learning. But I think by going slow and writing the contrapositives allows you to get to the point where you don't need to write the contrapositives.
Yeah.
All right. So how I go about the normal question one is I actually don't use my diagram. I read the rules again, and I use it as an opportunity to double check them to make sure I read them correctly. And so how I approach the first question is it says like Wendy appears in every photograph that Selma appears. So I know that that's referring to this part. So I just go through the 5 answer choices and see if S, then W, and see if there's any that I can cross off where that's not happening. So can we cross off any here?
The last two.
Do you mean?
I love when we can get to 2. So I just go ahead and cross these off. And then I go to the second rule. Selma appears in every photograph that you appears. So I'm looking for if you, then S. So I look to see where you occurs.
There's no U though.
There's none. So I just skip over that one then.
Nope.
Yep.
So then I go to rule number 3, that R appears in every photograph that Y does not appear. So I look for where does Y not appear? And is R there? So the only one that it happens is an A, but R is there. So it fits that rule so that I can't do anything there. And then I go to the last one, that neither Ty nor R appears in any photograph that Wendy appears. So if Wendy appears, we can't have R and we can't have T. So can we cross any off because of that?
The first one.
Yeah, because if we have Wendy here and we have R, so it can't be A.
C.
And it can't be C because we have Wendy and we have R. So then I just select B and I move on.
Right.
And I like that. But one thing that I struggled with is I would miss games because I would misread one word in the rules. And so this is something that I added in. So it gives me a second chance to read the rules just to double check that I read them correctly. I don't think everybody does that.
I do the exact opposite, Nicole, because this is the method I used to do, and then I decided I'm never going to do this again.
Because you don't like it?
No, I think it takes up more time. Because I could have gone through A and been like, okay, that's not the right answer. And then I could have gone to B and been like, okay, that's the right answer. And then I wouldn't have I wouldn't need to look at C, D, and E. I would have just saved myself like 30 seconds.
Probably. I probably am more on your level, but I think I teach it like, because like I think a lot of people don't have that intuition at first. But
Yeah.
I probably answer this. I probably can answer this question in like 30. Like I explained it and you might be able to find it. I'm pretty quick at crossing them off, honestly. But you probably don't make mistakes. I'm someone that makes mistakes. So I have to do this and that's why I do it. What?
I make mistakes with this method because I would confuse myself between answer choice and I'd be like, I don't know what I just looked at.
Okay, no, see,
I think it just depends on the person.
Yes, and I think this makes sense for how I teach everything else about like disagree and agree questions or like breaking everything down into the bare minimum. So I have to pay. I think this is having ADD, honestly. Like,
well, Akarshna, how would you do it? I do it this way too, the way Nicole just taught it, but how would you do it?
Do you want me to go through, Nicole? Like, can I erase them?
I think what she's saying, Heather, is she can literally look at them and tell if they're right or wrong.
No, that's not what I do. Like, I would have.
You follow the chain, right? You check each individual answer, right?
I would check each individual answer. So I'd go through A and then it'd be like, okay, I'm just gonna write on the side here. I'd write down R, S, what is it, T and W. And I'd check each individual rule after that. I'd be like, okay, if S then W, sorry, I meant to write. If S and W, okay, that checks out. And then I don't care about the second rule because it doesn't appear here. And then R appears in every photograph that Y doesn't appear in, that checks out. And then it gets to the fourth rule and I'm like, okay, that's, so like I go through rule by rule.
So you check every rule against the answer choice at the, like all at once and then move on. Okay.
So instead of checking every, what Nicole does is check
one rule at a time.
Rule. What I do is check every rule against one answer choice.
Makes sense. Okay. Okay.
It works for Nicole to do that. It doesn't work for me to do that. So I do this instead. And it doesn't work for Nicole to do that. There's no real wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I do it. Yeah. My big
thing, I do it Nicole's way because I also miss things. So I need to do that for my own brain.
Whatever works for you.
My thing is that when I did Akarshna's ways, which she's probably accurate enough that it just is flawless.
Yeah.
If you miss one thing, you're going to select an answer and move on. And you don't have the option of crossing off all the answer choices. Where I've gotten a game before and I've crossed off all answer choices and been like, oh crap, I messed something up.
Yes.
But
it just,
yeah.
If you're very confident with games, then my method might work for you. But if you're the kind of person who's not as confident, Nicole's method would be a lot better.
Exactly.
And I just do confidence, like don't like I score perfect sections on games. So it's not like,
I'd be confident to the point where I wouldn't even look at some of the answer choices. Like I would get through A, I'd say that's not the right answer. And then I'd check B and then I'd get that it's the right answer and then I'd move on. I wouldn't check the other three answers. Like confidence to the point where once I check an answer and I know it's right, I wouldn't look at anything else.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I tend to check. I don't check every answer, but I check. I have time to though. Like I guess I don't know. Doesn't matter.
No, the reason I bank up time is because like I look at an answer choice, I know it's right, and then I move on. I don't check. Like I don't check the way I do with logical reasoning. Like I read through everything on logical reasoning. In games, I'm like, if B is the right answer and I can prove it to myself, I don't care about C, D, and E. I don't even bother.
Okay. I think I'm too much of a perfectionist where like I want a perfect, like, which you probably get perfect scores on games too, but like I've burnt myself too much by missing one question, and that's the difference of a one. Sorry, I was gonna say 169 and 170.
No, you're fine.
Sorry, that's so mean to say.
No, you're fine. My scores come from logical reasoning and reading comprehension. can bank on logic games being my
Like
perfect.
bank.
I don't care. I literally am like, I don't care about logic games.
I
'Cause
love
know
that.
like I can do them drunk. And
I
get
can, yeah, I
and-
used to
and,
go
like,
at the brewery. I'd be like, here's
drunk
the
and
The only time I've ever gotten a perfect score on a reading comp section, like a timed one, was drinking beer. Because I think
That's
it took away
so
my
funny.
anxiety.
You
No, I
heard it
wasn't
from
drunk.
everyone.
I just had like, it was like a
Something
craft
that you
beer.
really
So it was
don't
stronger than like
know.
a normal beer, but it was like not like drunk. I was just like sitting there and I think it just literally like calmed me. All right. Anyways. So then after I do that, I do the if questions first. Do other people do like Karshna probably doesn't, but
Yes,
Yeah,
always
I do.
that.
if
I know the
if
ifs.
questions first, very easy.
But I didn't do it for this particular game because I was pretty confident. I'm pretty confident with my conditional, so I just went through everything.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, like drink a beer before your LSAT. Yes, that is my tip. Someone put it. Yeah. Okay. So if Ty and Zach appear together in a photograph, then which of the following must be true? So this means that it happens in every single scenario. So
Yeah.
if Ty and Zach both appear, oh, I'm sorry. 2 other tips. As I go through rules, I actually, so like when I would have read the first rule, Wendy and Selena, I would have put a little dot under their name as I go, because then I know who the floaters are. So WS, S and U. So I don't have to do it right now, like and waste time.
Oh yeah, so he
I-
is the floater. Yeah, I do that too.
Why does my computer keep doing that? Okay. And then T and R, I said Y. So then Z is what we call a floater. So I would have
Okay.
just that. And I do that, I actually do that as I read the rules. I mark them so I don't have to like go through and waste 10 seconds doing it just like that.
Mhm.
I was gonna say that. Was there something else that I do? Okay, so Z's are floater. So if we have T and Z, what do we know is true? So Z's a floater. So I know that like that doesn't affect anything. Cool.
Right.
And then I really just have to pay attention to the T rule. So whenever T is in play, what else do I know? The only things that I know is that W, S, and U are out, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, correct.
Yep.
So I'm looking for one of those answers. So A says S also appears in the photograph. Well, we don't know that. It's actually
No,
saying
we know
S
that's
is
not
out.
true.
What?
We know that's not true.
Yeah.
It's-
So yeah, we know that's not true. Yes. Y
must be
also
false.
appears. Well, we don't know that Y appears, so that can't be it. Y could
Mhm.
appear, but Y must not appear. Like, you know, it's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Wendy also appears in the photograph. Well, no, we know that for sure is not true.
Mhm.
R does not appear in the photo. Well, we don't know that either.
I don't know.
Where then we get to E and it says U does not appear in the photograph. This is the only one that we know out of those answer choices that we know for certain that is true.
Right.
So that's why E is our answer. Out of today. So then I did do this. Maybe I just stick to my guns too much of like my habits, but I went to 16 then and did my next if question.
Oh my God, you skip around.
Yeah, I do the if questions first.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's easier. Cause then like I did the 15 one without I just thought of it.
Okay.
Okay, so the reason that you do the if questions first is because it like helps you learn to play with the rules. So whenever you get to the which and what questions, you kind of already know how to think about them. Because like if I got to 15 after just doing 2, oh, Carson, do you just erase that?
I don't know.
Hit Command Z.
There we go. I meant to erase like this little. I'm not gonna touch anything anymore.
Okay, so I can erase all this. So if I were going to get to it, then okay, so if U and Z appear together in a photograph, then exactly how many of the other friends must also appear? Well, we just from the last rule, I'm like, okay, I know Z's a floater. Cool. So what happens if U appears? So I'm really paying attention to this. So whenever U appears, it's this little fancy chart here. What do I know that happens? That
W and Y.
So I know it's S, W, and Y, correct?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so what's the tricky part of this question? Not
Other friends.
Yes, how many of the other friends?
Others.
So are we talking about Z and U?
No.
How many questions have I missed because of that word? A million.
Yep.
Literally a million. Okay, so
Yep.
so it's 3, so our answer is going to be B.
Mhm.
All right, so now I go on to question number 17. If exactly 3 of the friends appear together in a photograph, then each of the following could be true except. So before I would do this question, I would go down and kind of look at what, just kind of think for a second of like what could be true. So for example, like could you be in the photograph?
No.
No, because then there would be too many. And I know this because of this rule, this one I just did up here.
Yep.
And so that's, I'm just letting myself take 20 seconds just to think about it. And so these answer choices, a lot of people do trial and error. I do agree with trying these out, but I don't try all of them. So I'm just going to talk through it and so you can kind of see what my thought would be. So S and Z both appear in the photograph. Well, this one, because our things our diagram is so nice, I kind of look at that and can S and Z both be in the photograph?
No.
No, because we have Y, we have W and Y. So if we had Z, that would be 4 friends total.
Yeah. Z must be out.
So yeah, so S must be out. Excellent. What about
Z must be out.
I'm sorry, what?
That's an except question. So
A is the right
well,
answer.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
So
Except question.
yeah.
Sorry, thank you. You corrected me.
Yeah.
Except. So then we get lucky since that one can't be true.
Yeah.
Okay. This is one that I would probably select and move on, and I wouldn't try the other ones. I might try one just to like make sure that like I'm on the right page, like applying it, and then I would move on.
Paranoid when A is the right answer. I'm like, maybe I should just check B just to make sure.
I do, or I would look through them and be like, T and Y both appear. Okay, let's say A wasn't the right answer. This would be my thought process of determining like would I try an answer or not. So T and Y, I'm gonna like T guarantees a lot out. Y doesn't tell us anything. I would say like that's probably true. I wouldn't cross it off if I didn't try it. I would just leave it because I'm like not worth my time. W and S both appear. W and S. Oh, yes. I'd be like, oh, WS, the only thing that has to be true is Y. I in my head, I would say I tried that one, so I would cross it off. Y and Z both appear. I'd be like, Z's the floater. I'm not trying it. That's probably true.
Mhm.
Z and R both appear. I'd be like, R doesn't guarantee anything. Z's a floater, not trying it. So let's say that A happened to be E in this situation. I would be like, oh, S and Z. That one, S has a lot happening and Z's a floater that we're bringing in. I'm going to try this answer. And if that was the correct answer, I wouldn't have wasted my time trialing error the other ones because I thought logically about what's the likelihood that this could actually be my answer. And then after I do 17, I would go up and do 15. So it's like, what is the maximum number of friends who could appear in the photograph that Y does not appear in? So if Y is not in, what do I know to be true? That R has to be in. W, S, and U have to be out. So who's left? Well, I know that I've already played so much with this. I'm like, well, I know Z's a floater. So that's easy. And then who are we not considering?
T, I think.
T, can T be in?
Yep.
Yep. So what is the maximum number of friends who could appear?
3.
3.
And that, so I think I do, yeah, so that's how I approached it. Were we able to follow that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it help? Like, yeah, sorry. I can go into over mode sometimes. I like teaching games stuff. I like teaching games as long as it's in like, not hours on end.
I love games.
This one wasn't so bad.
What?
It wasn't so bad. This one.
Yeah.
Not bad, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't
A
bad.
lot of people would mess this conditional reasoning up though.
Yes, the
Yeah.
every and any. Yeah.
How did people do on it?
I did fine. I think, like you said, I think one of the best things I did for games is to know my conditionals and know how to diagram it and know how to manipulate them. That has helped me tremendously.
Play with your, I said it, play with the rules. Don't be afraid of the rules. Because you start to see trends. When you get to too many, you'll literally be able to look at answer choices and be like, it's probably this one. Like, and I'm not joking, like, because you'll just like you're like, I know what they're testing here. It's probably this one. That's because I've done almost every game, like at least 5 or 6 times. Any questions on this one?
No, that was fun. I needed to do a game.